Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off the night, we have John Cena. John Cena comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. John says that truth is a lie. John then mocks to R-Truth. John blames the fans for R-Truth coming back to WWE. John says that R-Truth is a gimmick. John says that he has 19 more wrestling dates left until he retires. John says that he wants competition, and that everybody that they've thrown at him has come up short. After that, CM Punk is here. CM Punk interrupts John Cena. Punk says that how ironic how the tables have turned now that he is the hero and John's the heel. Punk says that he's here to defend the people. Punk says that John hasn't faced the best in the world, but Rhodes is their best. Punk says that he is not here to kiss the final boss's ass, which I thought that was a hilarious line there from CM Punk. Punk says the people are his boss. Punk mentions Ron Killings. Punk says that he wants the Universal title. Punk says that he says that what John is doing is wrong. Punk says that he has to become a monster to destroy a monster. John then agrees to a match with Punk at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. After that, Seth Rollins interrupts CM Punk and John Cena. Seth then stares down John and CM Punk holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. A couple things I want to talk about this, man. Number one, I thought this was a great promo back and forth between John and CM Punk. I've been one of the guys, I had to say this, I've been one of the guys that have been really crucial with John Cena's heel turn. And I mentioned this, I think, about a week ago when it pertains to John Cena. John Cena's the GOAT. He's 17-time World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he is the GOAT. He broke the record that was being held at the time, or tied at the time, with Ric Flair. And he is probably going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. But, a lot of people, and myself included, were anticipating a lot when John had turned heel. I mean, this is one of the biggest heel turns that we've seen in all professional wrestling since Hogan turned heel. Because no one ever thought that neither one of these guys would ever turn heel, especially back in the day with Hogan. Because Hogan was immensely over as a babyface. I mean, everybody loved Hogan back in the day before he did turn heel and join the NWO and join Hall and Nash and WCW. So now, years and years later, now we get John Cena, who, again, is one of the biggest baby faces of all time. And to see him join the likes of The Rock and have him turn heel and, pretty much destroy Cody Rhodes, a lot of people didn't see that coming, but a lot of people were also excited to finally see a heel John Cena, because fans have been waiting for John to turn heel for years, and we finally got it. Now, since he has turned heel, has his heel run been the greatest? No, it is not. To be honest with you, I think, for what it's worth, I wouldn't mind seeing John go back to being a babyface at this point. And that might be a hot take for a lot of people, but it's just, his heel run so far has been very lackadaisical. Very lackadaisical. And there are some missing pieces in this heel run, mainly The Rock. I mean, we have not seen The Rock at all. We were supposed to see The Rock at WrestleMania 41, and he was a no-show. Instead, we saw Travis Scott, a part of the John Cena Cody Rhodes match. So we have not seen The Rock. We haven't even heard from The Rock in quite some time. So that kind of took away a little bit out of the aspect of John Cena's heel run so far. So, it's a very lackadaisical heel run. The title matches that John has had hasn't really been that great. To me, so far, the best match that he's had as a world champion and as a heel so far has been the match that he had, I believe it was at Backlash, against Randy Orton in St. Louis, and that was his best match that he's had on paper so far since he has become 17-time world champion and becoming a heel. So we're going to see, man. Do I think his match was that great at Money in the Bank, too, when he teamed up with Logan Paul? No, I do not. But, again, looks like we're going to get a match at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia with John Cena defending the Universal title against CM Punk. This is a match that a lot of people have been patiently waiting for years. And it looks like we're finally going to get that matchup between Punk and Cena taking place at Night of Champions. So definitely looking forward to that, and hopefully we get some decent build-up towards that matchup between John Cena and CM Punk. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match on Raw. It is AJ Styles taking on Chad Gable. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between Styles and Gable, with Styles keeping the pace of the match. Gable then goes to the top rope, hits a diving headbutt, landing on Styles. AJ then attacks the Creed brothers ringside, which allowed Gable to apply an ankle lock on Styles, but the hold is broken. But AJ hits a Styles clash on Gable. pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is AJ Styles. Hats off to AJ Styles for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Women's King of the Ring tournament matchup. It's a fatal 4-way. It is Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez versus Kairi Sane versus Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a really good match. Back and forth matchup with Rhea keeping the pace of the match. Liv hits a springboard code breaker for a near fall. Rhea and Kairi Sane both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Rhea hitting a fall-away slam on Roxanne Perez. Rhea then hits a riptide on Liv Morgan. Raquel then attacks Rhea ringside. Kairi then hits an insane elbow to the outside. Kairi Sane then hits another insane elbow on Liv Morgan, which allowed Roxanne Perez to hit a roll-up on Kairi, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and moving on in the Women's King of the Ring tournament, is Roxanne Perez. Hats off to Roxanne Perez for getting the win in that matchup. Moving on from that, we got a Becky Lynch segment. Becky Lynch comes out to the ring, the newly crowned Women's Intercontinental Champion. Lynch talks about her accolades and what she's done in professional wrestling and her personal life. Becky Lynch then mocks Lyra, and then she also calls out Lyra Valkyria, but when she calls out Lyra, all of a sudden Becky Lynch is attacked from Bayley. Bayley finally returns to WWE. She's been out since literally the weekend of WrestleMania 41, so she finally returns and attacks Becky Lynch. Moving on from that, we have an R-Truth segment. R-Truth comes out to the ring. He stands on the announce table, grabs a microphone. R-Truth tells the fans that they matter. Truth says that he's back because of the fans, and that we heard the fans, and WWE heard the fans. That's what brought him back. He also said that they brought back R-Truth and Ron Killings. Truth says that he feels different. Truth then brings out a pair of scissors and then pretty much cuts his hair on live television. Ron says that the truth has set him free. So like I said before, man, looks like R-Truth was let go, if you should say, from WWE, but Ron Killings is here to stay. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is a Men's King of the Ring tournament matchup, fatal 4-way. It is Penta versus Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio and Sami Zayn. Again, I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup with Braun Breaker keeping the pace of the match. Zayn hits a springboard moonsault to the outside. Braun then was leaps off the apron, hits a lariat on Dominic Mysterio, sending Dominic over the announce table. Breaker then hits a Frankensteiner on Zayn off the top rope. Breaker and Penta then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Zayn hitting a Blue Thunder bomb on Dominic Mysterio for a near fall. Penta then hits a Penta driver on Zayn for a near fall. Penta then hits a Mexican Destroyer on Dominic Mysterio, but Braun hits a spear on Penta. And out of nowhere, ringside, LA Knight shows up, hits a BFT on Braun Breaker, leaving Breaker pretty much helpless ringside, which allowed Sami Zayn to hit a haluva kick on Dominic Mysterio in the corner, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and moving on in the Men's King of the Ring tournament, is Sami Zayn. Hats off to Sami Zayn for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a video package that was played. It looks like we're going to get the return next Monday Night Raw, and the return of Asuka. Asuka has been off WWE television now for basically a year. She is finally returning back to WWE when she returns next week on Monday Night Raw. Moving on from that, we have Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella goes out to the ring. Fans chant Bella. We have the Bella Army. Nikki thanks the fans. Nikki then talks about Evolution and the fact that she was main eventing the first ever Women's Evolution pay-per-view. Nikki then praises the women's locker room. She also mentions different names that are in the women's division. But she doesn't mention Liv Morgan, which Liv Morgan comes out to the ring. She talks about her accolades. Then she mocks Nikki Bella. Nikki then wonders if Dominic Mysterio is loyal to Liv or Roxanne Perez. Liv then calls Nikki a reality show diva. After that, Nikki goes to attack Liv Morgan, but Liv hits an Oblivion on Nikki Bella, leaving Nikki Bella helpless in the middle of the ring. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's the main event of Monday Night Raw. It is Jey Uso defending the World Heavyweight title against Gunther. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Jey and Gunther, with Jey keeping the pace of the match. Jey hits a spear on Gunther, followed by an Uso splash for a near fall. Gunther then hits a powerbomb on Jey for a near fall. Gunther then hits a spear of his own on Jey in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Jey then gets up, hits another spear on Gunther. Jey then goes for an Uso splash, but missed. Gunther then applies a sleeper hold on Jey Uso, but the hold is broken. Jay then applies a sleeper hold of his own, but the hold is broken again. Gunther then applies another sleeper hold on Jey Uso. Referee sounds for the bell, and your winner of the match and new World Heavyweight Champion is Gunther. Hats off to Gunther for getting the win in this matchup. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, I think this was probably the best Raw we've seen in months, to be honest with you. I think the Women's King of the Ring tournament was really good, as well as far, and even the men's was really good as well. We see Nikki Bella. Everybody was hyping that up with the return of Nikki Bella. I do believe Nikki Bella will be a part of this year's Evolution 2, due to the fact that, she was a part of Evolution 1. Looks like she's returning back to WWE. It looks like she might have a matchup with Liv Morgan. I'm gonna, throw something out there for you guys. I'm not sure it's gonna happen or not, but I would not be opposed or surprised, I would say, if we get some kind of tag team matchup here with, Liv and Liv and Raquel taking on the Nikki Bella and Brie Bella. I wouldn't be against that either. It'd be a good one-off. I think it would be a good pop for the fans. But I do see Nikki Bella doing something with Liv Morgan. I would say the beginning of the night, seeing John Cena and CM Punk, the banter back and forth was a good promo back and forth between Punk and Cena. But a lot of people were up in arms about that matchup being taking place in Saudi for Night of Champions. I mean, for me personally, I can give a rat's ass, to be honest. I think it's a match that a lot of fans want to see. For me personally, I honestly didn't think this match was going to happen until we got to SummerSlam. Due to the fact that it's one of the WWE's big 4 shows of the year. And 2, for the first time ever, SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. So they had to have some decent matches to fill out both of those days for SummerSlam. So I thought for sure that, CM Punk and John Cena was going to happen at SummerSlam. Now, there could be a rematch between Cena and Punk that can happen at SummerSlam, but, it's still yet to be seen. But, like I said, man, this was probably one of the best Raws we've seen in the past few months. Sami Zayn wins the Men's King of the Ring tournament in his match. Looks like SmackDown will also have their own Men's King of the Ring tournament as well as the women on both respected brands. So, I'm all for it, man. I think it was a really good show. And not only that, I think, with the return of Nikki Bella, we also see the return of Bayley. I was actually surprised that we saw Bayley, to be honest with you. I'm happy that she's back. I know a lot of people, and myself included, were up in arms about the fact that she was taken off of WrestleMania 41 due to Becky Lynch returning. I thought it was a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you, but it's great to see her back. Obviously, Bayley has her sights set on Becky Lynch, most likely for the Women's Intercontinental title. I'm all for that as well. So it's great to see her back. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it was a really good show. It was a decent show. I mean, Raw and SmackDown have kind of been up and down here for the past few weeks, past few months. So this was probably one of the better Raws that we've seen in the past few months. And, it was a good show. It really was. And then Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. It looks like the end of an era, if you will, the end of the Yeet era, if you will. And, was I surprised by this? No, I wasn't surprised by this at all, because the narrative is this. The narrative is that Gunther will go into Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, Georgia, seemingly defending the World Heavyweight title most likely against the return, if you will, the retirement match of Goldberg. It looks like a lot of sights are set on this matchup, possible potential matchup here between Gunther and Goldberg. It's been speculated a lot and rumored a lot to happen. So it looks like it will be Gunther defending the World Heavyweight title against Goldberg at Saturday night's main event the weekend of July 12th. That event, Saturday night's main event, is taking place in Atlanta, Georgia. Goldberg's, known to be in Atlanta, Georgia. He also played for the Atlanta Falcons, so it's a little nostalgia, if you will, for Goldberg. To be honest, I don't know why the world title will be on the line, but I can see them doing that because usually Goldberg's always in some kind of title match stipulation when he returns to WWE. So I can see the World Heavyweight title being on the line. So yeah, definitely can see that happening. But I'm not surprised by the outcome, man. And I told you guys when Jay won the belt, I didn't think it was going to be a long title run, and it really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. I can't sit here and say that Jey Uso had an amazing title run. I'm not going to sit here and say that because that's false. I don't think he had a great title run. I'm happy that he didn't really technically hot potato the title, and they kept him have the title for a little bit. But it wasn't going to be this long, run that he was going to have. It wasn't going to happen. And I told you guys that off rip when he won the belt, that it wasn't going to be a long title run for Jay. And I respect the hell out of Jay. I really do. Jay has put the time in. He has busted his ass to get to where he's at. And I was happy that he won the Rumble. I was happy that he won the World Heavyweight title. I was happy he beat Gunther at WrestleMania. It was great. It was great. But the title run wasn't going to last long. So, and then, I think there was something on the lines where some people were saying that Jay might take some time off. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all, because after this now, you really had to decide, okay, well, what's next for Jay? Is Jay going to be severely going back in the line? Is Jey Uso no longer going to be in the main event scene, or be main event Jey Uso, where he's back to the mid-card again? Because things are starting to steamroll, man, around Jey Uso. I mean, you got Gunther now, the World Heavyweight Champion. You got John Cena, CM Punk going on. You got Seth Rollins walking around with that briefcase, seemingly patiently waiting to cash in on whether it's John Cena or now Gunther. And obviously Seth Rollins is in the main event scene. So, I don't know. Jey Uso might not be a part of the main event scene here for the foreseeable future in WWE. I don't know. So that's why he might take some time off. And if that's the case, and that's the rumor that comes true, I'm not against it. I mean, there's really nothing right now for Jay to do at this point. I mean, Jay, he just lost the title. I don't know. To be honest, and I think that's the biggest question that you had to ask yourself is what's next for Jey Uso now that he has lost the World Heavyweight title. And that's, it's going to be very telling to see what happens next. I'm not sitting here saying that Jay might not ever get an opportunity like that again to wear the World Heavyweight title. I'm not saying that. But do I think it's going to be, him getting fast-tracked back to the title? I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. Because, like I said, you got Seth Rollins with that briefcase. You got the King of the Ring tournament, where I think the winner of those will actually go on to face whatever champion they decide, or their respected brand's champion or whatever. So, I mean, there's also that narrative as well. So Jay's going to be in the back of the line, man. Jay's going to be, back to the mid-card. He might be a couple main event spots here and there, but he's going to be mainly on the mid-card, to be honest. And, it's crazy, because at the end of the day, man, I mean, the people are gravitated towards Jay. They really are. And, like I said, was I surprised he lost the belt? No. Do I think the Yeet era is completely over? No. I think the Yeet era is over if you look in the fact that the Yeet era doesn't have the World Heavyweight title around it anymore. But yeah, if I was Jay, I would take some time off, spend some time with his family and stuff like that. And it's well-deserved time for Jay to take some time off and regroup and come back even stronger. So we'll see what happens next with Jay. I also want to talk about R-Truth, man. R-Truth, he came out to Monday Night Raw, standing on the announce table. He had that pair of scissors in his hand and seemingly cut his hair on national television. It was pretty much showing, what he's doing, what R-Truth is doing is letting everybody know that R-Truth is gone. And now we got Ron Killings. This is who Ron Killings is. And he's going to not be so nice. He's not going to be the happy-go-lucky guy. He's coming in there to kick your ass. And I'm all for it. I mean, and this is the thing, too. I mentioned this about R-Truth when we did our Money in the Bank review. The people out there that said that the whole R-Truth thing was a work, that's fucking bullshit. He was legitimately let go. Because they didn't see him as a viable product anymore. They weren't making that much money from R-Truth. He really wasn't having a lot of matches on WWE television. And they just weren't making money. And the age gap plays a big factor in some of these releases. I mean, R-Truth is up there in age. I mean, he's 54 years old. So when they let him go, I mean, there was outrage from fans and content creators from all over the world that were just pissed off that they let somebody like that go when this guy has been with the company for almost 20 years. I mean, people were pissed off. So they, WWE, they finally brought him back. I mean, there's already been rumors of speculation that, Nick Khan was the one that brought R-Truth back, and Triple H was the one who originally let him go. So, like I said, man, there's some inner turmoil going on here between Triple H and the higher ups. I can see that happening, and I made that perfectly known when I did my last review. So, to see him back and to see, him back as Ron Killings, do I think he's going to be around for a while? No. If anything, it's probably like a 2-3 year thing for Truth or Ron Killings, and then he's going to be probably let go after that. I don't see him sticking around too long, but I am very interested to see how this Ron Killings thing is going to play out, and we're getting a whole different kind of Truth, or R-Truth that we've all known of, and to see him as Ron Killings and have a different demeanor and this pissed off attitude where, he's not the happy-go-lucky guy. Now he's coming after you with a vengeance. So that I want to see, and hopefully we see more matches with Truth on Raw, or if not SmackDown, or all these PLEs, because it looks like he does have some unfinished business here with John Cena. So I'm all for it, man. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be something where, when he finally, has a match as Ron Killings, I think, with the entrance music and everything else, I think it's going to be great. He's going to get a huge pop and a huge ovation from the fans, and rightfully so. Absolutely. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, this was probably one of the best Raws that we've had in the past few months. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.